For millennia, humanity lived in a rhythm woven into the fabric of nature. In ancient times, water was revered as a sacred, life-giving force, its gentle murmurs echoing the heartbeat of civilizations and the pulse of creation. Water is the essential for humanity, intrinsically tied to every aspect of our existence. From the dawn of civilization, access to reliable water sources has dictated where we settle, how we grow our food, and how our societies develop. As the renowned oceanographer Jacques Cousteau once said, "The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever." Indeed, as Benjamin Franklin wisely noted, when the well is dry, we know the worth of water. It's essential for drinking, sanitation, agriculture, industry, and even recreation, directly impacting public health, economic prosperity, and social stability. As the global population continues to grow and climate change alters precipitation patterns, the challenge of ensuring equitable and sustainable water access for all becomes increasingly complex, highlighting the critical need for responsible water management and innovative solutions. The profound connection between water and humanity extends beyond mere utility. It's deeply embedded in our cultures, religions, and spiritual beliefs. Water symbolizes purity, renewal, and life itself in countless traditions worldwide. Yet today, the ancient truth of water's sanctity stands in stark contrast to a disturbing modern reality. In our era of rapid progress and industrial might, the clothes we wear hide a sorrowful secret. For every cotton t-shirt or pair of jeans that graces our closets, there is an unseen debt, a debt of thousands of liters of water that once nourished life, now diverted and exploited. The modern world, in its ceaseless quest for profit and convenience, has reduced water to a mere production input. The delicate essence that once inspired spiritual festivities is now manipulated within the cold corridors of factories. In these places of relentless output, water is treated as an abundant commodity, effortlessly consumed and carelessly discarded. This documentary invites you on a journey that reconnects us with the deep, ancient bond between water and humanity. We travel back to a time when every ripple in a sacred pond echoed with hope and reverence, and contrast it with today's story of industrial excess and neglect. We begin by exploring the poignant legacy of water in human culture, when every community knew that life depended on respecting nature's limits. Today, however, that reverence has been overshadowed by a relentless industrial appetite. Each freshly pressed shirt or meticulously cut pair of jeans conceals a narrative of ecological sacrifice. This is a story of abundance turned to exploitation, of sacred waters diluted into industrial streams. In every garment produced, there lies a silent story of extraction, a tale of nature's generosity taken for granted. The heart of modern fashion pulses with a demand for water that is both staggering and unsustainable. Across the globe, the fashion industry consumes nearly 93 trillion liters of water each year. Every step in garment production, from the cultivation of cotton to the intricate processes of dyeing and finishing fabrics, saps precious water from our planet's diminishing freshwater reserves. As our civilization advanced, our relationship with these vital resources shifted. Innovation brought comfort and abundance, but also an ever-growing thirst for materials and new ways to shape our world, a thirst often paid for by the very resources that sustain us, a cost largely unseen. Nowhere is this unchecked consumption more evident than in the clothes we wear. Our wardrobes, once practical, have become symbols of rapid change and disposable desires. Every garment we choose carries a hidden debt, paid in water. A single cotton t-shirt, so simple and common, can demand up to 2,700 liters of water to produce, enough drinking water for one person for over 2.5 years. And your favorite pair of denim jeans? Their thirst is even greater, requiring up to 10,000 liters of water, a decade's worth of drinking water for one person. This isn't just about a few items, it's a systemic thirst. The fashion industry, globally, is an insatiable consumer, using an estimated 93 billion cubic meters of water annually. That's enough to fill 37 million Olympic swimming pools, making it the second largest industrial consumer of water in the world. Beyond consumption, it contributes approximately 20% of global industrial wastewater pollution. This is the true, hidden price of our clothes, paid by communities, ecosystems, and a planet already under immense strain. The ripples of our fashion choices extend across continents, reaching lands where water, once abundant, is now a dwindling, tainted resource. Inside the bustling corridors of textile factories, water flows relentlessly, yet its journey is tainted by industrial neglect. The dyeing and finishing processes, critical steps in achieving vibrant colors and textures, are responsible for nearly 20% of all industrial water pollution, as we mentioned earlier. Toxic chemicals, once confined within vats of synthetic dyes, seep into nearby water bodies. What was once crystalline water now turns murky, bearing the scars of human ambition. Rivers that once nurtured life are transformed into conduits carrying hazardous substances, imperiling both ecosystems and human health. In this modern alchemy, water is manipulated and marred, its innate purity sacrificed on the altar of profit. The impact of such exploitation extends far beyond the confines of factory walls. In regions where water is already scarce, industrial overextraction leaves communities gasping for every drop. Local populations, once nurtured by ample water resources, now find themselves pitted against an industrial giant. Rivers that had sustained entire civilizations run dangerously low, and the local ecology is irrevocably altered. The contamination of water sources by industrial waste has led to dire consequences for both nature and human life, impinging on agriculture, public health, and community well-being. The tragedy unfurls not in distant lands, but right in the heart of communities that had once celebrated water as life. The rise of fast fashion has only intensified this crisis. In today's consumer culture, trends shift as swiftly as the seasons, and the demand for new clothing has surged by 60% since the year 2000. Each fleeting fashion moment demands rapid production, a cycle that compels manufacturers to extract and use water at an ever-increasing pace. Garments are produced, worn briefly, and then discarded, fueling a vicious cycle of production and waste. Factories operate without respite, driven by the insatiable consumer appetite and profit margins that obscure the long-term environmental costs. In this relentless pursuit of trends, the natural rhythms of water are disrupted, its value reduced to linear figures on a ledger. The modern wardrobe, a mosaic of colors and textures, comes with hidden scars that threaten the continuity of life itself. The impact is not limited to natural water sources alone. The proliferation of synthetic fibers, such as polyester, presents another dimension of harm. These materials, lauded for their durability and modern appeal, conceal an equally disconcerting legacy. With every wash, synthetic fabrics shed microscopic fibers, tiny particles that contribute to approximately 35% of the microplastic pollution found in our oceans. These persistent pollutants infiltrate marine ecosystems, gradually accumulating in the tissues of aquatic life and eventually in the food that sustains us. Each synthetic garment, celebrated for its ease and affordability, thus carries a hidden burden that compounds the overall environmental cost of fashion. The interconnected challenges of water depletion and microplastic pollution form a tapestry of modern degradation that undermines both natural beauty and human well-being. The tragedy of water misuse in the fashion industry is epitomized by one of the most dramatic environmental catastrophes of our time. The story of the Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake on Earth, offers a somber illustration. Devastated by excessive water diversion for cotton farming, the Aral Sea has nearly vanished, replaced by a barren landscape of salt and dust. What was once a thriving ecosystem, supporting diverse life forms and human communities, now stands as a stark monument to the high cost of unsustainable water practices. This ecological disaster, rooted in the same insatiable demand that drives modern fashion, is a sobering reminder of what may await other precious water bodies if industrial practices remain unchecked. Within the intimidating walls of factories and textile mills, water is reduced to a production input, a functional resource in a system that values efficiency over essence. The very element that ancient peoples imbued with sacred energy has been transformed into a tool of relentless consumption. Every piece of clothing produced bears an indelible mark of this transformation, charting a journey from the ethereal purity of natural streams to the tainted aftermath of industrial processes. Behind the polished appeals of glossy advertisements and trend-driven catalogs lies a deeper, darker narrative, the story of our planet's most vital resource, exploited without regard for its intrinsic value. Each garment now whispers a tale of depletion, a story of environmental loss stitched into its seams. At its core, this industrial appetite for water represents more than just a misallocation of resources. It signifies a profound shift in our collective values. The sprawling complexes dedicated to fast fashion operate under a paradigm that prioritizes short-term gains over long-term sustainability. Economic calculations reduce water to a mere line item, a resource to be used and discarded like any other commodity. Yet behind these impersonal figures lie the lives of communities struggling with water scarcity, of ecosystems on the brink of collapse, and of natural legacies fading into oblivion. Every liter of water extracted, every chemical released, and every piece of fabric produced contributes to a cumulative toll on our environment. This is a quiet crisis, unfolding in the background of our daily lives, and it demands a response born of both urgency and conscience. As we journey deeper into this narrative, the collision of historical sanctity and modern exploitation becomes even more jarring. In the glare of modern efficiency, nature's quiet protests are drowned out by the roar of industrial progress. Behind every piece of clothing, there lies a stark narrative of ecological decline, a saga marked by rivers drained of life, habitats scarred by chemicals, and communities left to contend with the fallout of environmental neglect. This is not merely an industrial challenge, it is an existential crisis that beckons us to reconsider the true cost of modern convenience. The statistics are both overwhelming and deeply personal. It is almost impossible to reconcile the figure of 2,700 liters of water required for a single cotton t-shirt with the warmth of a cherished memory of a cool mountain stream. Each garment, crafted from fibers that once danced in the gentle embrace of nature, now embodies a silent tragedy. The hidden cost of fashion is written in every drop of water irretrievably lost, every river that runs dry, and every community forced to bear the environmental brunt of unsustainable practices. In the polluted waterways near massive production hubs, the transformation is particularly heart-wrenching. Where once crystal-clear streams sang songs of life, there now flows a bitter cocktail of industrial effluents and chemical residues. The transformation is almost metaphorical, a subtle yet relentless erosion of values that once held water as sacred. This stark reality is not confined to statistics and factory floors. It is etched into the faces of communities, in the eyes of elders who recall the days when local rivers brimmed with life, and in the voices of children who have never known untainted water. There is a palpable sense of loss, a collective mourning for a heritage that modernity has all but erased. These human stories, interwoven with the cold, hard data, demand that we confront the full scope of the crisis. They ask us to acknowledge that our modern lifestyles, with all their conveniences, are fueled by a relentless consumption that pays a severe toll on our planet. Yet amid the cacophony of exploitation and loss, a spark of hope begins to glow. Innovation is emerging from the very heart of the crisis. Visionary leaders, environmental advocates, and forward-thinking brands are challenging the status quo. They are pioneering breakthroughs that aim to reconcile the intense demands of modern fashion with the urgent need to preserve our natural water bodies. Technologies, such as waterless dyeing and the adoption of sustainable fibers like hemp and linen, are beginning to reshape the industry's footprint. These innovations, though still in their early stages, signal that a more respectful and sustainable way of doing business is not only possible, but within reach. This transformation is not solely a matter of technology. It is a profound cultural and ethical shift. Across the globe, grassroots movements are mobilizing consumers to demand accountability and to support brands that put water conservation at the forefront of their mission. In classrooms, boardrooms, and local communities, a new conversation is taking root, one that emphasizes respect for natural resources and challenges the destructive practices of fast fashion. More than ever, every purchase, every garment chosen, is an opportunity to make a statement about the kind of future we want to build. This shared journey toward change bridges the gap between the past and the future. It connects us to our ancestors, who celebrated every droplet of water as sacred, with the aspirations of future generations who deserve to inherit a world where nature is cherished rather than exploited. The path to sustainable fashion is illuminated by innovative practices that restore balance to our water cycles and honor the legacy of respect that once defined humanity's relationship with nature. Every step taken towards cleaner production methods, every initiative that reduces water consumption, reinforces the message that fashion need not come at the expense of our most vital resource. Today, as the narrative shifts from despair to hope, the call for change rings out with clarity. The promise of a better tomorrow lies in our collective decision to support sustainable practices and ethical production. It rests in the hands of consumers, a powerful force that can reshape industries by choosing to invest in a future where water is treasured rather than squandered. Join the movement towards sustainable fashion. Choose brands that prioritize water conservation and ethical practices.